Nothing like life advice from an influencer with a wedgie. That was a real comment left on the Instagram page of an Australian influencer named Henrietta Moody after her recent motivational post was reviled by her audience. It was July 2023 when this self-proclaimed influencer would make headline news after uploading a video of herself to social media in which she essentially said that wannabe influencers don't achieve their goals because they don't have the follow-through. They blame everyone else. They don't take responsibility for their actions, and they'll live a shit life unless they wake up to the cold, hard facts. I'm now going to play a little snippet of this controversial video, but it's rife with loud copyrighted music, so I'll just be cutting to the best quotes. Just trust me, the entire thing is essentially the same. It's not like I'm trying to cherry pick anything out of context. The entire video is just this motivational kind of speech that went horribly wrong.
Listen up closely because I am about to change your life. You are lazy, and they are not. They are disciplined, and you are not. You are full of bullshit excuses, and they are not. And every time you think of snoozing your alarm, think of me telling you how lazy you are, and that you will forever be a prisoner of your shitty life, and then make the decision to prove me wrong and do it for you.
It's safe to say that most people were not happy with this post. The comments were ruthless. Sorry, what are your qualifications? Imagine basing your entire day on your appearance and claiming it as success. What a waste of a purposeful life. And of course, the infamous, nothing like life advice from an influencer with a wedgie. It appears as though the biggest problem that people had with her post though was with Henrietta herself. Because usually in a motivational video such as this, the person giving the speech has gone through something difficult and found inner strength to overcome it. Henrietta on the other hand does OnlyFans for $9.99 a month, with the first month free. Many people might argue that due to the nature of her job, she doesn't really have much of a leg to stand on, as the platform is very much appearance-based. And that means that unless you have perfect cheekbones, piercing eyes, and huge breasts through your genetics, the only other way that you can attain them is through surgery. It didn't really help that throughout the video, Moody continually showed shots of her ass. A lot of people seem to think that the inclusion of her fat cheeks seemed to undermine her point a little bit. A few weeks after the incident cooled down, she would be asked a question through her Instagram, and Moody would claim that she calls it how she sees it, that she stands up for a straight, no filtered, and no BS approach to life. Her follow-up posts were also better received, and she seems to have won back her audience ever since. Even if her growth on Instagram has severely slowed down after the incident, going from just shy of 30,000 when these articles were written to only 33,000 in the 6 months since. I for one can abstractly understand where she's coming from. She seems to be the kind of person that would rather give you the ugly truth than sugarcoat anything, and I can understand, even respect that a little bit. I think that oftentimes the best way to get a point across is through tough love, even if it could seem harsh or cruel. I just don't think that this specific video or the word choices that she used within it were the best way to get this point across, nor do I think that she, or any other influencer for that matter, should ever be the kind of person to give this kind of speech. But I have a speech that I want to give, and that's about Blinkist. Blinkist allows you to understand the very most important topics, meanings, and themes within over 6,500 non-fiction books and podcasts. And it does this within roughly 15 minutes. So if you ever want to dip your toes into a topic that you're not entirely sure that you'd like, Blinkist allows you to have a flavour for that without having to go out and buy the book or take a class that you don't exactly know if you're interested in. I, for example, have always been really interested in philosophy even though I never studied it, so I decided to use Blinkist to listen to various different audios explaining the teachings of Friedrich Nietzsche and Taoism. Most of these summaries take between 5 and 25 minutes, and they are absolutely perfect for commutes or just a healthy alternative to social media. Blinkist has also just introduced Spaces, which allows you to share interesting reads with your family and friends. And so if you're interested in Blinkist, then let me tell you right now that they're currently doing a 7-day free trial as well as 25% off their annual premium. Just head to the link at the very top of the description to take advantage of this offer. A big thank you to Blinkist for being the proud sponsor of today's video. Click that link in the description to check them out. Back to it though, our next story concerns a woman named Ariana Fletcher, whose actions last year made her reviled on Twitter after her extremely poor treatment of a food delivery driver. So the story goes that Fletcher was a then 27-year-old who back in March of 2023 seemed to have a hankering for some food. She decided to call up Uber Eats to get some food delivered, but this would become a grave mistake. For the following events would arguably make her come off as extremely stuck up and entitled. She posted the conversation that herself and an Uber delivery driver had on her Twitter. She seems to have messaged something before because the driver's first message seems to be in response to something that we can't see. But long story short, the driver Sabrina told her that she was going to be using the restroom before delivering this woman's food. Fletcher was clearly having none of it, however, telling her to bring the food before she used the restroom, saying that her concierge was waiting. Sabrina then told her that her husband would complete the order, but this would never happen, as Fletcher would reveal on Twitter that she cancelled the order after this exchange. This is f***ing disgusting and unprofessional as f***. At Uber Eats, I cancelled my order so fast. I'm never using Uber Eats another day in my life. Y'all workers doing shit like this? F***ing gross! This post would be seen by 13.5 million people on Twitter, many of whom thought that this was an outrageous thing to tweet and rage at for a multitude of different reasons. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, I can't believe I even have to say this, people are entitled to bathroom breaks. People in the service industry go to the bathroom and then immediately go back to work. They wash their hands, there's a little thing called soap, and it makes it okay. It's kinda grim when you think about it, but it's just the way it is. And secondly, it's outrageous that I even have to mention this, but at no point, not a single point between the food being made and it entering your gullet, does the delivery driver even touch it. Well, unless you're the Doritos Locos Taco thief in my previous video, who accidentally left evidence of Dorito dust on her fingers in the picture that she sent. To be honest, it's probably more sanitary that they go to the bathroom right before they deliver your food, because if they've washed their hands, there'll be the least amount of germs on them. Thirdly, this tweet censors nothing except for Ariana's previous message. Sabrina's name and car number are included in the picture, even though it's not needed. You could easily cross her name or number out, but Fletcher chose not to. What this tells me is that it seems as though she was actually trying to get Sabrina fired. I tend to think that the way people treat service staff is very indicative of their character, so if someone is rude to a barista or a waitress or a shop clerk, I tend to think that they're just rotten to their core, and that seems to be the case here. She could have privately messaged Uber if this was such a big problem to her, which it shouldn't have been anyway, but instead she publicly posted this, tagging Uber in the tweets. To me, this shows clear intention that she was trying to get Sabrina fired from her job. Sabrina even offered to have her husband deliver it, but apparently in Fletcher's world, you can't even be married to a person who's using the bathroom. As you might expect, a lot of people in the replies were calling Fletcher out on her callous treatment of this delivery driver. No, this actually is hella overdramatic, because not only did you not have to post this lady's whole car information, but you're mad at the fact that she went to the bathroom and even offered to let her husband give you the food. It's not like they're actually touching the food sealed inside. I'd be thinking you'll be forgetting these people doing y'all a favour the way you'll talk to them for real, and you'll already know that they don't get paid a lot. At least be patient and understanding. It's weird too, because Fletcher seems to think that you should treat others the same way that they treat you, but clearly does not live up to the standard that she sets. For sure, this was yet another example of an entitled influencer who needed to be put back in her place. I for one think that we need a few more rational people with big numbers on social media, so if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That said, a more debatable incident occurred around the same time as our previous story, which involved an influencer and a man on a park bench who had a hilarious exchange. This story takes place within a park, seemingly somewhere in the north of England. The accents of the characters involved, paired with the fitting grey clouds, makes me assume somewhere in the Yorkshire region of the country. The video starts with a woman who claims to have just finished a 5k run and was now speaking to her followers about her fitness journey when an older gentleman comes and sits down.
Off you pop, carry on, man.
Well, I can't carry on, Will. You're in the background.
Why not? Because you're in the shot, like you can see you.
Yeah.
You're literally in the
Hello.
shot. Yeah.
Hello, guys.
No one wants to see that.
Why not? How do you know what
My
people
followers,
want
I
to see?
know what my followers want to
Your
see.
followers?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
you're
this is
Jesus
for my
now, are you?
followers. Yeah, the followers that follow my fitness program.
All right,
They're not
okay.
going to want to see you sat there in the shot.
And what sort of fitness program is it?
Well, it's following my fitness journey.
Oh, you on a journey?
In case any of you haven't seen this clip before, you might be surprised to discover just how viral it went. On the No Context Brits Twitter page, this 3-minute clip raked in a whopping 52 million views. It also received at least 5,000 upvotes on various subreddits such as r/Karens, r/NewsAroundYou, and r/TikTok Cringe. The video was then reported on by various major British online news platforms such as the Lad Bible and joe.co.uk. Though one major question remained throughout, and that regarded the legitimacy of this video, which to this very day is still questioned. I couldn't find any records of this video prior to an upload by a TikTok channel called It's Gone Viral, uploaded in October 2022, a good few months before the rest of the internet caught wind of the incident. In fact, it was right after the No Context Brits Twitter page posted about this incident that all these articles were made about the clip. Most of them came in late February and early March 2023, despite the clip being at least 4 months old by that point. Many people within the comment sections were skeptical that this was legitimate, as it seemed almost too perfect. The man walked into her video right as she was starting up her livestream, and his witty retorts sounded almost too good. On top of that, she claims to have set this up on a tripod, but if you study this video, the camera is moving a little bit too much for that to be the case. It's definitely not stable enough for this to be a stationary shot that you would achieve with a tripod. Lastly, the woman within the video claims that this was live, though in all of the videos that I could find, both of the faces have been blurred and there are several cuts. Now, this could just be that whoever found this live stream and sent it into It's Gone Viral wanted to cut down the video and protect the privacy of the people involved, but this one is suspicious to say the least. Regardless, this was an ultra-viral and incredibly infamous video of an influencer who was called out for her entitlement. Real or fake, I think that it deserved a spot in this video for sure. But up next, we'll be discussing something very much real. This is the most serious topic in the entire video. In life, there are several things that just shouldn't go together. Socks and sandals, babies and bleach, but most importantly, influencers and war memorials. It might or might not come to your surprise that over the past decade or so, many war memorial social media platforms across the world, but especially in Europe, have had to put out public service announcements to tell their guests how they should behave. To any sane, rational person, we know that a war memorial is there for us to go and pay respects, to remember the people who paid the ultimate price for the rest of us. These are not places to practice your new poses, and over the past couple of years, there have been several people who have gone viral for their clear lack of respect and empathy for the deceased. For example, this woman who provoked outrage after draping herself over a Holocaust memorial, or this influencer named Tammy Hembrow who decided that a Lest We Forget monument was the right place to have a photo shoot for the gram, or the subject of this Twitter post who decided that Auschwitz was the perfect place to express her vanity. What is wrong with these people? Is nothing sacred? It got to a point where back in 2019, the official Auschwitz Twitter page came out with a tweet to take a slight jab at these people, saying that this probably wasn't the best place to learn how to walk across a balance beam, considering those are the same tracks that literally hundreds of thousands of people crossed in order to become victim to one of the largest tragedies in human history. Keep in mind that the site does allow pictures to be taken essentially through the building minus 1 or 2 specific locations, and the Twitter page does admit that they understand that some people need a sort of relief from the horrors they see, but this is one of the most sobering, somber and chilling places in the entire world where you can go to. I'm sure that other war memorials and museums that are dedicated towards tragedies are similar. But it's just common sense. There is absolutely nothing sexy or glamorous or chic about an area that is responsible responsible for the brutal mass murder of families and entire bloodlines. Things got so bad that in the mid to late 2010s, a German-Israeli artist named Shahak Shapira decided to create a piece of work to mock the disrespectful visitors. According to a BBC article, he created a website called Holocaust and uploaded 12 pictures that people had taken at war memorials that some people might deem as insensitive. These pictures were found on Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, and Grindr. And if you were to go onto the Holocaust website and hover your mouse over these pictures, they would change to pictures taken back in the 1940s. So the backgrounds would change to put them in the setting of the era in which these atrocities were going on. These images have such an incredibly strong visual punch, and the page was eventually visited by 2.5 million people. According to the website, which now has all of these images taken off, this art piece came to the attention of all 12 people who uploaded these selfies, and each of them took the photos off their social media and sent in apology letters. Still, this is a problem that's persisted since, and I don't think it's one that's ever going to go away. As long as vain and stupid people still have access to their phones, they're just going to do vain and stupid things, making entire conflicts and genocides all about them.
No, this whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
And all we can do about it is publicly shame them in YouTube videos until, hopefully one day, it stops for good. Though one influencer who seems to have stopped for good is a man by the name of Larz. Of the many influencers that we've discussed so far in this video that seem almost too insane to be true, Larz may be perhaps the most delusional of them all. His antics deserve an entire video made about them, but for now, a segment within this video will have to do, so this is Larz. The case of Larz is a curious one indeed, but the best starting point is probably back in mid-2019, after Larz would upload a video of himself to TikTok where he would go to a store, take some ice cream out of a freezer, scoop the ice cream out of the tub with his hands, eat it, and place the tub back in the freezer. That very same day, he would upload yet another video to TikTok where he danced to an Iggy Azalea song before dropping a carton of milk. Around the same time, another video, this one created by an influencer who went by the name Bamran, would go viral. In this one, Bamran is seen in a shopping aisle picking up some Listerine, gargling it, and spitting it back into the bottle before walking off. These videos would earn the pair millions of views, as well as a spot on Dr. Phil's show, and this is where things went unhinged. If you've never seen this interview before, I won't dare ruin it for you. There is a reason why Larz is in this video, as you'll soon see, so let's roll that clip.
I mean, I don't talk to my family.
Why not?
They're irrelevant.
They're irrelevant?
None of them have followers. If they got followers or got rich, I'd probably talk to them again.
Now, hang on a minute. Did you just say I don't talk to my family because they don't have followers?
If they had followers, they'd be here right now.
You talking about your mother?
I mean, my mom has more followers than my sister.
It's your mother. What difference she make? What do you care if she has followers or not? It's your mother.
What? Can anyone tell me like what I would talk to my mom about if she's not going to be making me relevant?
Yeah, like, hi, Mom.
Now I have a career and I'm famous. Like, that's what happens when you get famous. You cut people off.
Seriously?
I mean, everyone's upset with it, maybe because you guys aren't relevant either, so you don't understand.
That statement is wild, and it's actually one that Larz has stuck to over the past few years. In October 2022, so 3 years after the Dr. Phil interview, that clip seemed to go viral once again, prompting Larz to do the media rounds once more. In an interview on the Kyle and Jackie O show, he reaffirmed this story.
So what do your parents say? Like, aren't they a little disappointed that you've cut them out of your life?
They're too busy divorcing and fighting and just being irrelevant. I have 5 brothers, 4 sisters.
Wow.
There's 10 people or 10 kids in the family. All of them I have blocked on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and I will not talk to them unless they get the same amount of followers as me.
If you are genuine in what you're saying, then you will definitely regret this someday down the track, is all I can say.
I appreciate the advice. I would never shy away from kind words like that. I appreciate it. But yeah, I do have my own rules. So,
Yeah,
you know, it's going to go in one ear, out the other.
of course. Yeah, I
I
gathered
love
that.
his honesty. You can't knock the bloke for being honest.
I'm sure that a lot of you are screaming at your screens right now that Larz is clearly a character, and to be fair to you, that could be the case. He admitted alongside Bamran that their respective ice cream and mouthwash stunts were faked. They bought the items afterwards. I looked at the Dr. Phil interview with apprehension, as the pair seemed to want to be famous by any means necessary, even if it meant that they had to play the heel. Larz also had what seemed like a very fake confrontation on a YouTube channel called Street Interviewer. However, this insistent desperation for the headlines must make you wonder the lengths that Larz would go to achieve his 5 minutes of fame. And I can answer that question for you right now. Back in March 2020, Larz would go viral once more, this time for licking a toilet. Yeah, we're going there, I guess. Larz would later lie once more and say that he contracted COVID from it, a great story to wrap up a video that was already provocative and bound to become a viral hit. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to show this. I feel as though this would break YouTube's guidelines, and I don't even know if you would want to see it because it's just sick. But to summarise the video, it appears to be set in a public bathroom, though this is the cleanest public toilet that I've ever seen. It seems to be almost spotless. This toilet is just begging for a tongue, so Larz goes over to it, drops to his knees, and gives it 2 big licks on the rim before doing some smaller licks to it. He would upload this video to Twitter, but then a consequence fitting of a Greek tragedy would befall him. As just like Icarus before him, he would fly too close to the sun, and this video would end up getting him banned from Twitter. Larz's Twitter account @GaySeanMendez is to this very day terminated from Twitter, and with no videos uploaded to his TikTok or pictures put onto his Instagram, Larz over the past year or so has remained very quiet on social media. Perhaps this was all just an act and Larz is a character. Or maybe, just maybe, the real Larz is as we see on screen. And he's so delusional that he actually felt entitled to cut off his family because they weren't giving him clout. Or maybe it's a bit of both. His former partner in crime, Bamran, seems to now make much more restrained TikToks and Instagram posts, so maybe the pair just grew out of it. Perhaps Larz woke up one day and realised that fame and superficiality aren't important in life. Or maybe he's dead. I don't know, but it's strange that he doesn't post anymore. Whatever the case, the legend of Larz is a curious one indeed. But if you're curious in checking out another video of mine, you might be interested in this one that I did last year about social media influencers who got robbed. This is a video that I think a lot of my own viewers probably forgot about, but it's a stone cold classic. Check it out if you haven't already. Aside from that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.